Yo, what's up, guys? We're back. New episode. I think we're on episode 15 or something. Oof. We've done about 10 more episodes than I expected to go through, to be honest. But we have Tony Mccall. This episode, not this show, to start us off, but we do have him against Fezzik, making his first defence of the heavyweight title. We finally managed to get him off Sigma. Sigma is almost like, right now in the game world, Sigma's like one of those, like, annoying girlfriends that's not really giving you any benefits and just being a ball ache. That's what Sigma's doing to me right now. They're grabbing all my fighters in the grass of their hands, are little clasps, and they're not letting them go. But soon, round about this month, I should be able to renegotiate with most of them. So they do have a show booked though this month, so there's a lot of guys I still can't use, but it is what it is. But we have Go Yamamoto, main eventing. I don't think this is his debut main event though, against Lars Boland, who's still unbeaten. We'll see if he can stay. This will be a hard fight for him. The winner of this will be in shape again to fight for the lightweight title. I don't know if I want to have Gorshin and Yamamoto fight again so soon. No, probably maybe one more fight at least for Yamamoto before we book them up. But we also got Bingwen Park against Sato. Sato is one of the few guys who's on a bit of a good run, but you wouldn't really expect it looking at his stats. He's won his last 3 fights in a row, whereas Bingwen Park, on the other hand, has lost his last 2. He's having a bit of a downward spiral since his split decision loss against Rob Baines for the title, which arguably I thought he won, to be honest. So, and then he lost to Yamashita, who at the time was still unbeaten. So that was 2 hard fights. He should bounce back against Sato though. And then we got Robin, who beat Desi in his last fight. A very good battle of 2 very good wrestlers, and he's up against Gary McSwiggan, who won his debut against Kenji Toma, which was a huge shock. So we'll see if he can pull off probably another shock. He's a stand-up fighter, so going against a wrestler like Robin, he is the underdog, but if he wins this, it'll be 2 big surprises in a row. 2-2 Milkovic, trying to get him back-to-back wins at the moment. It should happen this show. Trevor Murray, who won his debut, should beat Horde. We got 3-0 Negredo up against fellow Scotsman, the same as Gary McSween. Valence, I believe, is 2-2, but it should be a win for Negredo to stay unbeaten against a fellow stand-up striker. And then the rest of the cards, pretty much the guys we don't really care about. Sakata's not bad. He's a pretty good Muay Thai guy, but he's 1-1, so momentum isn't really on his side right now for us to really give him much spotlight. Geoff Cahill, who's 3-2. I'm sure we got some more 1-1s. We also got Batista, who's getting on a bit. He's 3-2, and he's up against Pereira, who lost his last fight against Eddings, which was the first loss of his career in a split decision. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's skip to the results. Well, it's probably a good thing this was done off camera because I was almost crying going over the main event. Yamamoto very deservedly lost to Lars Boland, who after that win, he stays unbeaten. I believe he's 8-0. Yeah, 8-0, 5-0 with us, which is crazy. To be honest, I can't believe Yamamoto's actually lost to him. My boy, my main man, he's going downhill already at 26. Nah, he's not. I'm being dramatic, but he does lose, which is a huge win for Lars to boost him into the lightweight title scene. The dog Sato loses after a 3-1 streak against Bingwen Park, who gets back on winning ways. Gary the hotshot Scott, who's proving like a real hotshot right now after beating Kenji Toma, one of the best guys statistically in his division. He's an underdog for this fight and he gets a knockout punch finish. Great rated fight, 2 minutes into round 1. He also beats Robin, who's one of the best light heavyweights in the world right now. Milkovic gets back on winning ways. Trevor Murray stays unbeaten. He beats Ernest Horde. Kyan Valance loses to Negredo for Negredo to go 4-0 and stay unbeaten as well. Batista also wins against Lazio Pereira in a split decision. Very, very close bout. Pereira lost his last fight to split decision, so it's a bit of a blow that he's lost twice to split decision, not in a row as well. Geoff Cahill won. I believe Dragos, who won, he actually won and also called out Geoff Cahill, which is kind of funny because they're both like outside the top 10 and calling each other out rather than like a guy way bigger than yourself. It was pretty funny, but it's a decent call out in the terms. We'll probably get to use it. Sakata though, in terms of getting back on winning ways, he also lost, but we get a 65 commercial too, so just shy of the high level national. I believe we had another call out. Bingwen Park actually also called out Rob Baines, which almost sets the stars aligning for them to fight again. He's also got a few nuclears out too, so we have a lot of matchmaking possibilities with Bing Wen. But a rematch for the title, a rematch against Rob Baines in a nuclear fight would be something I will not shy away from, considering the first fight was so close. It's a chance for Bing Wen to get some redemption, and only being 20 years old, there's still plenty of time to work up towards that fight. There was one or two call-outs, I'm not going to lie, but there was one. Milkovic called out Haratasaka Amida, who I believe is 3-0 right now in the promotion. But we'll move on. We take 0.5% pop. Because we went on, I think every show this card's actually on Eurosports Cable, because we have title fight next, and then to end the episode we have our first ever fight show card that's not based in Scotland, and it's an international draw, which is pretty crazy, not going to lie. I'm excited for that. We should take a lot of money this month. You know what, we'll give KO and fight to Gary, because he was quite the underdog for that fight. I'm surprised he actually won. And we'll give submission to Dragos for a great rated submission fight. We should take a nice chunk of money here. Bing Wen, yep, he'll go with a most 3k. I believe we have Go Yamamoto on an exclusive deal, so he would have took a lot more, like 7k if he won. And again, we take 423k, which is huge, considering this wasn't even a title fight. And it was like midway through the mid-national draw. So that's a lot. We're going to take a lot of money this month, which I'm excited for. But let's go. Heavyweight title fight up next. Well, it feels like we're recording this sort of scenario every single episode now. We got another tested positive for drugs this time. It's Frank Analysis, who just won as well. He just beat Rick Stanley in his last fight, which is probably the best one he's had yet, to be honest, in terms of pure quality opponent. But nonetheless, he's gone. We'll keep him for now on the roster. But 1 year without Frank, which isn't really... I honestly was contemplating not even telling you guys, because he's not really like a main figure in the heavyweight or in our promotion. But just as always, in case there's any huge Frank Analysis fans, I guess, that want to know how he's getting on in the next few episodes, he will not be here. Alright, here we go. First show. I'm just going to take a little sip of juice. I probably should have done it before I started the episode, or the show, I say, but oh well. Okay. This episode... Why do I keep saying episode? Oh my god. This show, we actually finally have a broadcasting team, which I was going to wait till low-level national, but I've just got them in now, so we'll maybe get a little bit of a boost here and there. We'll see. But we have Fezzik challenging for Tony Mccall's belt. He has fought his last two fights in Sigma, one of which he lost to KKK, who's actually in our promotion, so it's a bit... I really need to stop calling him KKK too, Jesus Christ. But he lost, which is a bit awkward. So we're throwing him to the Wolves and against Fezzik, straight in the deep end, first defence, similar to Rob Baines against Matthew Dean. We'll see how it goes. There's actually a lot of heavyweights and light heavyweights booked in this card, and it's really because they all became available, and it was before Sigma booked them again. So KKK, who of course beat Tony Mccall, he's against Ari Peltonen. Both of these guys unbeaten in GFC because Sigma used Ari and he lost to Tim Boyer, but we won't talk about that. Then we got Lakazi, he's up against Fujishima, which will be a pretty interesting fight. Both guys pretty good as well. Fujishima's last two fights have been in Sigma also. His most recent, he lost to Smith. And I think he also got booked for Sigma, right? No, he didn't. Never mind. But he did lose to Roberto Aldes to keep him unbeaten. Roberto Aldes, on the other hand, he's up against Mantis, so he should stay unbeaten this card. Then we got Boring Boniek against fellow wrestler, sort of wall and stall, ground and pound guy, Fatuma Roy, who's 2-0. That should be a good fight. Leon Dodlin, 2-1. One of the high national Canadian guys. He's up against Aguinga, who he should win against. And then the other four fights we don't really care too much about, though Tamura, after winning his debut, is back in action. And the reason we're not really going to talk too much about these, because they're just starting out, but both of these guys I'm excited. Truck Gleason finally enters the game world. I like him a lot too. Very good lightweight fighter. Loves to strike educated feet, usually a pretty exciting fighter too. Gives good shows, so I'm glad that he's entered the game at lightweight. And we also got Alexei Chekhov, the Fists of Death from Russia, who's also very good, another very good kickboxer. Punches and bunches, very exciting, just like Truck Gleason. in light heavyweight. So I'm excited those two guys are here. Hopefully they start their debuts with a win. But let's get straight to the absolute whitewash we're calling a main event. Okay, here we go. Tony Mccall's up first. He lost his last fight, of course, to KKK and Sigma, but he is unbeaten here. He was initially supposed to fight Phil Vedigre, but then they booked him in Sigma, so it got called off. And then it was supposed to be Mark Cohen, I believe. Or is he light heavyweight? No, Mark's light heavyweight. Who was he? He was supposed to fight someone else and it got called off too, but I'm not going to lie, my mind's going a little bit blank. So Fezzik stepped in at 6-0, to be fair. 6 fights all with us, 6 wins. His last fight against Gunnar Nilsson, pretty solid win. He's beaten the likes of Boring Boniek as well. I don't see Tony Mccall winning this, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't want to state the obvious, but I don't think he's going to win. The big bad Hassan Fezzik wins the heavyweight title to go 7-0. He pretty much took Tony down and Tony just got smashed basically until he gave up his back. Great rated fight, which is great because we want that for our main event. And this works out perfectly in the sense we have call-outs already out for Fezzik, and on this card alone we had 2 very good heavyweights call him out, which sets up good bouts for the future. It's going to be very unlikely that someone takes the belt off him until James Foster returns from the Olympics, and then if James works his way up, he could maybe win. But then again, it's really 50-50. Fezzik could honestly still win, and Fezzik's got all this time training, and he's with a very good gym too in Wales. He's in the Welsh gym, which I believe Bachelor is a Welsh. I made all these, I randomised them all, but I think Bachelor means pride or fight or something. I can't remember, but I translated it into Welsh, so I think it's the only Welsh gym we have, and it's pretty solid. But he was the big favourite. He gets the win, 69% commercial on Eurosports cable, just shy of national, high national, still hitting over 2,000 in attendance. KKK won against unbeaten Ari, well, unbeaten in GFC, and he called out Fezzik. And Roberto Aldes, who's unbeaten, beat Mantis, and he also called out Fezzik. Wait, no, it must have been Yamada. I'm getting them both mixed up. Yep, sorry. Roberto called out Yamada, and KK called out Fezzik, which could be something that happens soon, honestly. Maybe even it could be Fezzik's first defence, considering KK, and even though it was in another promotion, he beat Tony, who was the champ at the time, so it's maybe only fair after calling out Fezzik that gets arranged. Lacazette, after losing his last fight, loses again. Fujishima, who's not fought here in a while, but his last fight here, it was a loss to Edalberto, so he picks back up with a win. Boring Boniek gives Fatuma Roy his first loss of his career. Leon Dudlin is the huge favourite, lost, to my surprise, the big name Canadian. We also had Corriere win. Tamura stays unbeaten by winning. Truck Gleason was the huge favourite, and he also lost his debut against a fellow stand-up striker, which I guess when you put 2 strikers like this together with good power, anything can happen. But I honestly was expecting Gleason because he has decent ground game, good creative striking. You know, I was expecting him to have enough, but fair play to G-Force, who also beat Sakata on his debut, which was a surprise. So he's not bad. Don't write him off. He picks up a big win against Gleason, who is going to go on and win a lot of fights in his career, let's be honest, even though he started with a loss. And Elijah loses to Chekhov, who, unlike Gleason, wins on his debut. Well, we take a little bit more pop, actually, than we usually do with the Eurosports cable, which is a good sign that we're going up. Fezzik can take submission. You know what? In fact, give G-Force that In fact, no, give G-Force KO, and we'll give Fight of the Night and submission to Hassan, since he's the champion, he's the new champ in the promotion. So we take just under $500,000 again. Huge profits this month for sure. We still have one more show to go to, and it's an international draw where we're going to London. It's our first ever show outside of Scotland. It's going to be GFC 49 London, which I'm excited to go over. Well, here we go, last show of the episode, and it's kind of crazy to think I'm more excited about this show than I am the title fight that was before. But we have the Englishman himself main eventing in a nuclear battle against Martin in London, in his hometown. Pretty crazy. Well, his home country, not his hometown. I think he's from Wigan or something, Rob Baines, but I digress. GFC 49 in London before we get to the big 5-0 card, which we'll do next episode. It's going to be pretty crazy. It's a low-level international nuclear main event against two guys that we know pretty well already. We also got Ricardo, who is still looking to sort of slowly make his way back since losing to Jim Carpenter. He's got unbeaten Jack Humphries to go through 3-0. It'll be a huge win for Jack if he can pull it off. Then we got Mark Cohen, who we haven't saw in a while because Sigma kidnapped him. He was supposed to fight Edalberto in our promotion, but then he ended up beating Edalberto in Sigma, defending his light heavyweight championship. So, kind of similar to Phil Vedegree situation, he kind of got his title shot just kind of stripped off him because of Sigma. So we need to try and build him up again a little bit here. 1 or 2 more wins maybe. And he's got Fast Smith to overcome, who also had been taken by Sigma and won both his fights too against Fujishima, of all people, was one of them. Not a bad one, that'll be a good fight too. Then we got 2 very good stand-up guys, Leon Banks against Bryson Evans. It'll be interesting to see who can get knocked out first, basically. That's how it'll work. Zacharias Gomez, who pretty much got a freak first pro loss on his last fight. I really hope he bounces back quick. And then we got 2 other really good stand-up guys. Sakta, who's 2-1, against Walia, who's still unbeaten, 2-0. Then we got Joseph Minkowski, who's 1-0, hoping he wins. We got Bang Bang, who's 1-0, hoping he wins. Then we have Brandon Sugar, debuting at lightweight. Very good lightweight fighter. Really glad he's finally in the game. He'll be a good addition to the division. Hopefully he gets the win. And we also got Tyler Grafton also making his debut, who'll add some good, I guess, throwing a spanner in the works for the welterweight class, which is our weakest. So having someone like Tyler will be good, especially with the likes of Lucas, who came in and then got tested positives for drugs. So we'll see how Tyler can get on, but we're going to skip through this card to end this episode. But let's see on Eurosports Cable how much money we can take. Well, all the talk in the build-up for the main event didn't quite go to plan. It was only a decent rated, but the hometown favourite got the win in an 80 commercial. So we actually hit mid-level international, which is pretty crazy, the highest ever commercial rated show, with 2.2k in attendance. But we take almost 300k at the gate because London's a lot more lucrative than Scotland, which is nice. So more money for me. Ricardo Fernandez also lost to keep Jack Humphries unbeaten, which is a huge win for Jack. Mark Cohen wins a split decision against Fast Smith to help boost him back up. Since we got him back off Sigma, he's back on track to get his title fight. Then we had Leon Banks pick up the 5th win of his career in his 9th fight, which is pretty crazy. He's already had 9 fights already. But he beats Bryson Evans. Not the easiest guy for him as well. Zacharias Gomez gets back on winning ways. Walia also wins, which is huge, against Sakta, who's pretty solid. Joseph Minkowski and Bang Bang both stay unbeaten. Brandon Sugar and Tyler Crafton also win their debuts, with Tyler Crafton calling out Ricardo Fernandez. So that's something that we'll definitely look to take advantage of as soon as we can, as we take 0.8%. We actually take more popularity in Russia and Europe than we did where we actually host our shows, which is kind of funny. But as for the awards, we did get 1 or 2 greats. We'll give submission to Zacharias. We'll give knockout to... we'll give it to Bam Bang, even though it wasn't a knockout, it was a TKO, but he did get a great rating. And then we'll give Fight of the Night to... okay, let's give Wally a KO then it's a bit spread out for the achievements. As we take just under 600k. And that's with the likes of Zacharias taking 21k away, 400k in ads. If we have a few more shows like this, then we'll definitely be able to make a broadcaster. Although I'm still not really sure yet what kind of broadcasting show it will be, what kind of broadcasting range. If we're going to go for a subscription. And then we don't need to use Eurosports cable anymore, because at Low Level National, I believe there's an advertising company we can use. Or if I maybe just make an advertising to help with the pop on our fighters, because I think that's how it works anyway. But we'll see how it goes. But next episode, guys, it's just one show. There's 2 title fights, and we'll run through the whole card. So until then, I will see you guys next episode. Take it easy, guys. Take it easy.